Hi, Gregory Klump here, Chief Economist for the Canadian Real Estate Association. Now that the first 3 months of sales data for 2011 are in, CREA revised its forecast for home sales activity via MLS systems of Canadian real estate boards and associations for 2011 and 2012. Before I talk about the revised forecast, I can't stress enough that the national forecast should not be interpreted as being for any particular market, but rather the overall picture on a national level. With that important proviso out of the way, let's dive into CREA's newly revised national housing market forecast. Some 441,100 homes are now expected to be traded via Canadian MLS systems in 2011, down 1.3% from last year. That's a slight improvement from the 1.6% decline that CREA forecast last February and reflects an upward revision to forecast activity in British Columbia. CREA previously forecast that changes to mortgage regulations could bring forward some sales activity into the first quarter that would otherwise have occurred later in the year, particularly in more expensive housing markets, including British Columbia. Well, sales trends in the first quarter confirm that such was indeed the case. That pull forward in sales is anticipated to result in a milder version of the volatility and national activity that we saw last year. In keeping with our previous forecast, national sales activity is expected to dip in the second quarter before regaining traction as the economic recovery and hiring continues. In 2012, national sales activity is forecast to rebound by 2.6% to 452,500 units. That's little change from the previous forecast and stands roughly on par with the 10-year average for annual activity. Although national activity in the first quarter of 2011 came in pretty much as expected, a surprise came in the form of surging multi-million-dollar home sales in Greater Vancouver. These sales have upwardly skewed BC's average prices in recent months and prompted an upward revision to the national average price forecast. The national average home price is forecast to rise by 4% to over $352,000 in 2011 and a further 0.9% to almost $356,000 in 2012. This marks an increase from CREA's previous forecast and underscores the significant effect that foreign investment in British Columbia is having and will continue to have on national results. While interest rates are expected to rise later this year, they'll still be within short reach of current levels and remain very supportive for Canadian housing. Continuing job growth will underpin housing demand, keeping national balance between supply and demand on an even keel, which points to stability in the national average home price. I'll be back soon to report on April home sales activity over Canadian MLS systems, so stay tuned.